Hello gamers! The 20th anniversary of Fullmetal Alchemist is coming up, so today I'm going to show you how to make your own Brotherhood Eyecatch name card, whatever you want to call it. The first thing you're going to need is this template here from DeviantArt, someone called RSR Productions, who seems to actually have deactivated their account, but um, you know, giving credit is good anyway. So I'll include the link in the description. And you can use any kind of art for this, really, just as long as it has, you want to set it up with a transparent background or green screen background or whatever you want there. Um, Now, there is also an album on Imgur of all the eye catches from the show if you want to actually recreate one of those, which is what I'll be doing today. I'm going to be making Ed's here, this first one from the first episode. Um, but most of them are pretty generic, like close up, face shots. So you can just use whatever pose you want. Um, but I'm going to show you how to recreate one specifically from this if that's something you want to do. So once you've downloaded your template, let's go ahead and open that up in your image editor, which I will do in 1 second here. So you're going to open up, I'm using the GIMP version, but obviously if you're using Photoshop, you can use the Photoshop version. It does also come with just the frames. If you want to use those, like if you're using a different image editor program, so you can use those as well, but I'm going to open up the template here. And you may also notice that the folder comes with a font called Monotype Corsiva. I believe that already comes pre-installed with most Windows operating systems, but if you don't have it, you can go ahead and install that font, and that's the one that we're going to use for our name. So this does come, see, we've got two frames here. There's one with the logo on the top and one with the logo on the bottom. Both of them are on the left. And we've also got a few different gradient backgrounds. I find that most of the cards actually use a linear gradient and not a radial one. But you can make your own gradient, which is what I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in the original one that I'm recreating as a reference. So this one has the logo on the top, so I'm going to do that. Now, obviously, it's not going to be exact because in the original, the logo was on the right, and on this one, it's on the left. But, it is what it is. So what you're going to do now is you're going to get your image that you made for, you're going to get your art. So I've got I made this in Vroid, so I gave it a green background to make it easy to crop it out like green screen. Scale it to fit the dimensions, so this has, for whatever reason, a height of 1,923 pixels. So that's how tall I'm going to scale this to. There we go. So now I'm going to go up to color to alpha here and get rid of that green screen. You want to first select your color and just fiddle around with the threshold until it looks about right to you. If you have a lot of green in your design, you're probably better off using a different color other than green for your background, but that's, basic stuff for VTubing anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to slide her over to about here. Now, I realized that I should have zoomed this in closer when I originally made it. So I'm actually going to scale this up a bit. And it'll make it a little bit blurry, but it's not a huge deal. Just drop her in right about there. So slap that underneath the frame. And here I want to recreate the same gradient that they have in this picture of Ed. So I'm going to go ahead and take right from the corner there that nice orange, and I want my other color to be white. I'm going to make a new layer. And it looks like the gradient on his is pretty diagonal. So we're going to go over to linear gradient here. Make sure we click foreground, background. I'm going with RGB, but I guess it doesn't really matter. And you're just going to kind of put that in until it looks about right to you. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So the next thing we're going to do, if you look at the Brotherhood eye catches, you'll notice that they all have this kind of colored rim light on them. Now, if you're making your own art, like if you're drawing, you can easily just put that on yourself when you make the actual art. But if you're like me and you're using Vroid as your pose, that's not really going to work. So what we're going to do here is kind of fake it. So you're going to eyedrop the color that you want. I took it from his hair here, this kind of light blue. And whoops. Bye-bye, Ed. So if you look at the original, the rim light is kind of coming from the right side. So we're actually going to select all that empty space on the right side. You're going to make sure that you're on the layer that has your art and that you are using the fuzzy select tool. And make sure you have sample merged unchecked, because if you do that, it's going to do that, which is not good. So uncheck that. Now you can see it kind of selected all of the empty space. So we're going to take the lasso tool and go to subtract from current selection, which is this little third one here, and just take out that whole left side. So now what we're going to do is going to grow this selection by whatever amount seems good to you. Now we're going to make a new layer and fill it with that color that we selected from the original eye catch. Or if you're not recreating one of the eye catches, if you're just making your own thing, you can use whatever color you want. But we're just going to do that. Now you're going to take your art and right click on it and click Alpha to Selection. Now invert that selection and hit delete. So now we have this light just on our character. Now you're going to choose a layer mode. I find that overlay or screen usually works best. So this time I'm going with vivid light, but you can do whatever works for you really. Just play around with layers, with layer types and just pick what works for you. So now we're going to add our name. On here we can see it's kind of under the logo on the right side. The logo here, we've got it on the left, but that's fine. I'm just going to put it over here anyway. You're going to select for your font Monotype Corsiva, which is in here somewhere. There it is. Alright, so just, put that where you want. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to add a drop shadow to your name there. And you can adjust it until it seems about right to you. Adjust the radius and stuff. I'd say that looks pretty decent. So there we go. Now we're going to go ahead and export that whole thing. It might take a while to export because the canvas is so big, but it's going to give you a nice like HD. And if you're making your own art, I do recommend starting with a canvas that's about the same size as this one here, which is 3,429 by 1,923 pixels, which is a really weird size. I don't know why it's that big. Um, but I would recommend starting with a canvas about that size if you don't want some blurring when you upscale. Um, but there we go. Like I said, I will include links to the album and the template in the description, and I hope this was fun. Thanks for watching Full Metal Alchemist.